The following Earth Angel Media presentation is brought to you commercial-free as a gratuity from the sponsor producer named after the show. Please consider their message. Find other high-value shows listed at earthangelproject.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Soul Decodes. Join us as we wander off the path to find the ideas that fascinate. We talk about spirituality, the mind, the ego, wellness, and hidden history with tips, travels, and tales. Charms for a better life.
Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Jolie. You're listening to Soul Decodes. I can't believe we made it to October. It's October 2nd, episode 59.
Yes.
I'm here in the studio, Treehouse Studio, with Sarah Tirri. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
I'm glad you made it. We had this English weather. We got this weather that came in from London. It's all foggy.
How do you know it's from London?
I don't
It's
know.
those two hurricanes that have collided over in the Atlantic, and we're getting the bands of them, right? We're getting the bands.
I know, but it feels like London because London's
Oh,
always
this
got
looks
that.
like London.
It's got that fogginess and that. It's just you wear it. It's just on your skin.
Like Seattle.
Very much like Seattle.
Yes. Are they the same latitude, those two countries? Probably, right? England and Seattle.
I imagine so.
I have to look.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, I'll look later.
way
I'll ask
beyond-
Desmond.
It's way beyond my pay grade. So, but you said you had some things about. I asked you about weather. You said
Yes.
because we were logging on and my computer forgot the settings, and you said, "Could it be weather related?" Like everything's weather related. What did that? What you said there?
Well, so on the way over, I was thinking, so I have no firm or fixed opinion on this. So I always look for people's ideas about it. So climate, global warming. Okay, this is what everyone's getting freaked out about. What is your opinion about mining for coal and mining for the oil, drilling for oil? Because for me, you're just sucking the fucking life force out of the planet. It's in there for a reason. Is that something you agree with?
So you asked me like 4 questions. First question is about this idea of climate change and all this stuff. The second is what's the impact of mining for coal and oil and all that stuff,
Do you think that we should be doing that?
Well, can we look at it from a broader point of view? Because I always like to look at the broad
Well, if you do
picture
that,
first.
then I'm just going to have to narrow it down to my question.
We'll narrow it down because the people get their underwear in a bunch about climate change. But the thing is, climate is going to change.
And it has done throughout centuries and millennia.
For as far back as history itself, probably.
So that's where I am on it. I mean, there was an ice age 11,000 years ago, apparently.
Yeah, and maybe there's been more than one. I don't remember them. Maybe.
And all the cultures talk about this diluvian flood, right? Every culture talks about it. What the fuck's that? We know meteors hit the planet. So we have to understand that, not to get hysterical about it, because the planet does do certain stuff from time to time, which can be cataclysmic.
So before we do the deep dive into the minutiae, if we're going to go there, because I never know what you're going to talk about.
I don't until I pull in the driver.
So you pull in the driveway and you're like, what are we going to talk about
Well, I
today?
always pray on it. I always seek inspiration. And I do that as a morning prayer ritual. So when ideas just snap into my head, it's because you ask and thou shalt receive. So
and we're going to approach this from 2 different standpoints, because one end of the spectrum, people are going to say, well, what's the science say? What's the science say? Well, yeah, okay, if we're going to use the science, then let's talk about the scientific method first, and we'll enter from that direction. But let's talk about using intuition too.
Yeah.
Is there anything in nature at all that is static, that doesn't change? Coastlines change, oceans change.
Our lives change.
Our lives change. The topography.
The change is embedded into
topography
this whole...
changes. You know, there's some. They say that Florida used to be underwater. I don't think we are here. Like
we're central.
We're central, like on the ridge.
We probably had beachfront property.
This used to be where we're sitting right now. Used to be beachfront property.
I know.
Probably because this property is 108 feet above sea level.
Oh, you are? Okay. I'm at sea level.
Yeah, so I'm 8 feet higher. Nah.
Yeah,
So-
no. I need a rubber dinghy. I'm going to
know,
come
right?
over here if we get a flood.
So if you get flooded, you come over to my
I'll row
place.
over.
And if our place gets flooded, that's why we have
We'll have to go
helicopters.
up on the roof at that point.
That's why we have helicopters. But so everything's going to change. And so I was flying airplanes to the UK during Mount St. Helens.
Oh, gosh.
Remember that out in Washington, Oregon, they were full of all the dust and the debris from Mount St. Helens. And we were briefed in and out as military pilots about avoiding the dust and everything. But that was the first time this whole idea of the impact of climate, and all this. Because when we were children, the fear mongering was that the globe is, if there is a globe, the world is freezing.
Yeah, this
We're heading for another ice age.
Yeah.
So I spent my whole life thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to stay warm when I'm an adult, right? Now we're adults. They're like, oh my God.
We're getting too hot.
It's too hot. It's like, F you. But let's think about this logically, okay?
Yeah, it's this panic about it.
Well, you can ask so the standard of behavior is about reducing CO2, right? CO2 bad. You ever heard that?
Yes.
Carbon dioxide is
Methane.
a bad thing.
Yeah.
But ask any plant in the world if carbon dioxide is bad, and they'll say, are you on drugs? Are you serious? That's like asking a human being if oxygen is bad.
Yeah.
So let's not. I think
That's an interesting point.
I think it's fascinating that we're having this whole idea that we should reduce CO2 to prevent a problem with the Earth.
Yeah.
If you want to cool off the planet, if you're truly concerned about the planet heating up, you want more CO2 to feed more plants because the plants are going to moderate the temperatures.
With the oxygen.
Take a look at any desert.
So a plant moderates the temperatures.
Truly. Look, you can walk, during the summertime, you could walk right here on Phillips Island. You could be in the sunshine, right in the middle of a field, and you'll feel like it's 8,000 degrees. And then you can walk under the tree. Now, that's admittedly a microclimate, but that's like you walk under the trees, and it is beautiful. It's very tolerable.
Yeah.
It's 85 degrees. It's pleasant. There's plants growing. There's trees growing. It's all sorts of beautiful under the canopy. If you remove the canopy, then it's different. So we're talking about microclimates versus macroclimates.
So when you're talking about putting plants in and doing that, so I have 3 camphor trees, and then you're not allowed to grow them in Florida anymore because they grow really quickly, much quicker than an oak tree. They're as big as an oak tree. And the camphor oil, if you scrunch the leaf up in your fingers, it smells like eucalyptus. It's this beautiful tree. So what you're saying is if we plant more trees, it's going to give us more shade. But what's it going to do to actually cool the temperature of the planet?
So here's the question.
I like the idea,
okay,
though.
No, I don't want to go to the answer. I want to put all the pieces of the puzzle on the table.
All right, and then we'll sew it up.
Yeah, because we'll sort out the pieces.
Okay.
But let's talk about the pieces of the puzzle, because a lot of people, they're going to open up the puzzle box and they're going to pull out the first piece and they're going to say, oh, I know what this is. Well, no, you don't. You got to look at the whole picture. Yeah. And so when we look at the whole picture, we have to acknowledge, number one, carbon dioxide is critical.
Is loved by plants.
Critical. Even algae in the ocean, you need carbon dioxide. If you remove carbon dioxide, you're going to lose all of your plants.
Then we die, and then we die.
And if you get rid of all the oxygen, all the humans die, or the mammals. The mammals die.
Yeah.
We need oxygen.
Yeah.
They need carbon dioxide. It's a beautiful cycle.
It is.
When you look at the photosynthesis, the plant takes in energy from the sun, minerals from the soil.
Into its leaves.
It's called, the plant has a respiration. It respires and it produces chlorophyll, right? So it's a respiration. It brings in carbon dioxide and produces oxygen for us. So there's a beautiful symbiotic relationship between plants and humans.
So don't get freaked out by CO2. Let's put that there then.
If there's more CO2.
I mean, it sounds logical.
Look, they're saying, oh, the rainforest, we got to protect the rainforest. Well, you're not going to protect the rainforest if you reduce CO2. That doesn't even make sense to me.
No.
You want to increase CO2 if you want more plants. So we need to be asking these questions. If you want more plants, you want more robust plants. Yeah. Let's talk about more CO2, not less. That's the first thing.
Let's talk
Second
about
of all,
plants that grow quickly.
the climate's going to change. The question is, what percentage of the climate change that's going to happen has to do with our activity
What we're doing,
as humans?
yes.
What we're doing.
Yes.
Because that's the question. Like, if all of us just live like cavemen and women, right? And that's all we're doing. Now, that would even be bad because we'd be setting fires.
Yeah, that's all we're doing to
I mean,
keep warm. Yeah.
I don't even know if that's good.
No.
So, this whole discussion about how much man-made
What are we doing to
what
kill
are we,
the planet?
What are we doing
Yes.
to produce? So let's have a conversation. People are going to push back on mining coal. Okay. Oh, mining coal bad. Mining coal bad. We need to go to electric EV engines, EV cars, right? EV trains, EV planes, whatever. Which, by the way, won't work.
And you're talking about electricity.
Electricity, like electronic
vehicles.
Electronic
Okay.
vehicles, right? Electric vehicles.
EV, yeah.
Well, let's think that through. In order to have a big-ass battery in a big-ass vehicle and have electricity pumped into it, you have to ask yourself two questions. Where does the lithium come from?
And lithium makes electricity. That's an ingredient.
Lithium stores that's one of the popular ways to store electricity.
Store electricity.
In batteries.
Okay.
So you're driving your little
And where
Tesla.
does the lithium come from?
You're driving your little Tesla. It's all cute.
There's a little battery in each wheel, by the way.
It's not a little battery. It's a big.
Well, it's a big battery, but it's in each wheel. It's not one big one.
These batteries are monster. It's like.
But there's four. I
big...
test drove one. I was on I-4, and I nearly blew my mind. I mean, it was so fucking fast.
It is fast. Electric vehicles.
But 0 to, I mean, it just like far. I mean, I had a CTSV at the time. It was faster than that. It just blew my mind. Like, this is a death trap, this thing.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's got a big battery. It gives you a low center of gravity for good performance.
Well, the acceleration now.
It's great.
Gate is like.
Well, electric motors have really good torque. Torque. And when you think about electromagnetics, or more specifically, magnetoelectrics, everything starts with a magnetic field and a charge. Because what makes the electricity go? Is it the magnetic field or is it the charge? Because from electrical engineering, you could put a charge in motion. If you put a charge in motion, it produces its own electrical field or magnetic field.
So let's go back to lithium. So lithium. So where does the lithium come from that we need, and can we harvest that freely? And does that destroy the planet?
Yes. So if you're going to say don't mine coal
because you're taking the guts out of the planet,
because you're raping the planet, and you're using these big steam shovels and dump trucks, and they're burning diesel and all of this work and effort and energy. You're using so much energy to dig that lithium out or dig the coal out. So if you're going to say no to digging coal,
say no to lithium.
You must also say no to digging lithium.
Then where do we get our power from?
Well, so let's pretend we do find a cheap source of lithium. And now we have.
Or what about no lithium? We don't mine the planet for anything. What's our alternative? Hydro, water power, and wind power and sun power, right?
You're going squirrel on me. We're talking about lithium batteries. My question is, let's pretend we have a place where we got infinite supply of lithium energy. We didn't rape the earth. We didn't use diesel to dig the lithium out, and we didn't abuse children in Africa to dive into these wells to find the lithium stores, and we didn't use human labor to mine the lithium.
Okay, well, I want to go back to my thought experiment after this. Forget lithium, forget oil, and forget coal, but let's do lithium. Let's go with this.
I just got one more point with the lithium. So we turn everything over to EVs, which if you're in Alaska or Montana or Canada, EVs in the wintertime are a bad idea. Good luck with that. But let's just pretend we do have lithium batteries. Now you're going to pull up to a station and you're going to charge those, and you're going to sit for a few hours or whatever, or swap the batteries out.
Until that gets sped up. It'll happen faster.
Okay, so it happens faster. It won't be with lithium. The charge, you might swap out a battery. So maybe you pull in, they put a new lithium charged battery in and pull your old one out.
That's a good idea.
That could work. That way you don't have to sit around and wait for them.
Yeah, that's
But my question is, how does that lithium battery get charged? You're going from Kansas City to Topeka, Kansas. All right, you're driving. You can't make it the whole way on one charge, so you have to stop. You can get your battery charged.
Don't you see that as temporary, though? Like dial-up internet, they'll take
but
care
you're
of that,
asking-
and you'll do 500 miles without any problem.
But my
for
question
right
is,
now,
all of the people that are EV fanatics, where does the charge come from? Does the electricity magically just come from the earth? And you're plugging your EV vehicle in. Here's the plug. Yay, free energy. No, that energy is being produced someplace.
yeah,
Where did you get that energy?
yes,
Well, nuclear power, hydroelectric, coal power, right? It came from someplace. So the whole idea of electric vehicles good, saves our world, all this stuff, baloney. Even the
because
wind,
the byproduct of getting that is even worse than the problem you're trying to solve.
even the wind turbines, those big monster ones that are clocking birds, you see piles of dead birds underneath them. For real. I mean, that's what
Horrible.
it's terrible.
Do you think they'd learn?
It takes them decades to break even. And I really hope that people will look, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on this. I will just tell you, we have to ask better questions.
All right. So
We have to
let's-
ask better questions.
So how do
So-
we fuel the planet in a way that's sensible? And this is a thought experiment here.
So,
How can we make better use of the sun?
well, what I would do is this. I would think in terms of hydrogen and oxygen. I think when you burn hydrogen,
Power source.
so you need about, and it's been years and years and years, probably 30 years
Well, just
since.
keep it loose and light.
I'll keep it
then.
really
Yeah.
light, but it's been like 30 years. But I think you need like 28 volts across metal plates to liberate hydrogen and oxygen. So if you take water, which is hydrogen and oxygen, you take a molecule of water, and you put these plates in the water, and you apply a voltage across that, you can liberate hydrogen and oxygen.
And then how does that get stored?
Well, you have to store it.
How?
But you can produce it locally too, in a tank, or you
Oh,
can burn
okay.
it right away.
Right.
Like you could literally burn
So
the
you could,
oxygen.
you could have one at your house. You have
You
one
could-
of these that will fuel your entire house, keep it cool, keep it warm, cook and hot and cold running water.
You can use solar energy to create a 28 volt. I might be wrong on
Well,
the
don't worry
on
about the
voltage.
numbers. Let's
But
just
the
talk in
numbers,
concepts.
You can create voltage across water using, I don't know, whatever they are, copper or zinc plates. I don't even know what they
Mm-hmm.
are anymore. You create a dielectric and a potential across the water, and it liberates the
And the
oxygen.
planet is, 80% water. So we've
Yeah,
got
so-
the water, we've got the sun. We've
So
got to
you've got as
find a
much
way of
oxygen as
storing
you
this
need.
in small, accessible tanks.
Sure.
Not stored in one great big one, but they're all over the place. And this is where we get our power to fuel our
You could be in
lives.
the middle of nowhere. You're going to have sunshine. You're going to have water.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is collect the water and put voltage across it from the sunshine, and you're going to have hydrogen.
It sounds beautifully simple.
Now, the cool thing is, what I just described for you, if you do a little bit of research there were electric vehicles 150 years ago. You just got to go do the research. But those vehicles, those patents on those vehicles were bought. They were stolen by people like the Rockefellers. They had all the money in the world, so they bought the patent and they put it in a vault. Why would you put a patent for free, basically,
Because
essentially
you don't
free
want
energy?
people understanding how easy it is to
Right.
fuel, so you're going to just deprive them of knowledge.
And even back in the 80s, there was a guy who had an automobile engine that was super powerful. It ran on water. Now, whether that's true or not, we deserve to dive into it. But somebody bought the patent. He was unalived, or at least disappeared. And his patent was taken away and stored in some vault somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, you're going into conspiracy theory realms with this, but they might exist. Keep the masses ignorant seems to be the name of the game, doesn't it?
The whole conspiracy, the term conspiracy theory was specifically put out there by the CIA, which is an extension of MI5, MI6, which is London, England.
So we
right?
shouldn't talk in those terms.
Well,
then we should call it something else.
You're propagating. If you're calling
inventive, unusual ideas.
What about just calling us creative minds?
Creative minds,
How about
yeah.
inquisitive
Creative,
minds?
inquisitive minds with ideas. Yeah.
People who actually use the scientific method, the first portion of the scientific method is to ask and make an observation and ask questions.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think it's going to get to the point, because if you look at technology and how it progresses and how clever we are now, it's going to get to a point where a car's going to be powered with a battery the size of a sugar cube for 8 hours and you keep a few in your handbag? It will get to that. We're in the prototype stages of creating this and there's going to be flaws with it. But I see that being really convenient, really quickly and accessible. If you look at the stats on electric cars, they've come a long way and quickly, and they've improved, and that's not going to stop. So I'm hopeful, but then we don't know if we want to use electricity. We want to use the sun, we want to use water, right? And we want to use fire. We want to use the elements that Earth has. I'm one of these people, I just feel kind of uneasy about digging in for lithium and coal and oil. It's like, what are we doing to this planet? Aren't there better ways of allowing this planet to take care of us? And does the planet revolt? Well, we weren't digging for, how long have we been digging for coal? A couple of 100 years, not that long. But the planet's just had awful things happen to it without man interfering with it at all. So if we're interfering with it now, then that didn't make a difference in the past. We weren't even doing anything apart from lighting fires. So I'm on both sides of the fence. I can't work out whether everything's fine or we should be digging for lithium and coal or oil, or we find another way to fuel our lives, or are we the top of the food chain, in which case it doesn't really matter what we do to the planet because the planet governs itself anyway? I mean, is this a living organism? There were cataclysms and there were floods. There's all sorts of meteorites flying around in space. Are we that important? And are we that tragic to the planet?
Well, I mean, there's some really dirtbag people who do dirtbag things to the planet.
Like what?
Have you ever heard of HAARP? HAARP.
No.
HAARP. HAARP stands. Okay, so.
What's it stand for?
Well, when people start talking to me about climate change, man-made climate change, the number one man-made climate change is from HAARP. HAARP is HAARP, and it stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research.
Active auroral research. What the fuck
High
does
frequency,
that mean?
high frequency, active auroral research. All right, so let me explain that to you. Right outside this window here, right down here, is a plate. It's about 18 inches by 24 inches, and it's
metal.
It's a flat plate. The composition's not relevant. What's important is that it's got a whole bunch of tiny, tiny, tiny antennas in it. It's tiny little antennas that are pointing up, and they're little coils. And these coils, this is my Starlink receiver. Starlink receiver, wait a minute, what? Yes, this plate right outside my window receives frequencies from the atmosphere. And those frequencies can hold information. They can also hold power. They can receive power. This is the same technology. It's called phased array. It's a phased array system. So let's just say you and I are out on jet skis, and we pull off onto the dock, and we decide to skip stones, and then we say, okay, let's skip boulders, right? So you take a stone and I take a stone. You throw your stone and it splashes and creates these circles, these wave circles. And then I take mine and throw one, and mine creates circles. And you'll see the circles come together, and where the circles meet, where they're double as high. And when they meet, there's some places they meet and they cancel out. So those are called interference patterns. Stay with me on this. So what happens is, you can actually direct the energy of those boulders, that would be the waves. You could calculate how many places can I throw boulders so that I can eventually get this wave to go up a foot high or 2 feet high or 3 feet high. So in other words, if you interfere with the water in a specific order, in a specific way, in a specific pattern, you could legitimately make a wall of water, a very tall wall of water, with the interference pattern from all of those waves that are created from those rocks going in. Well, we treat the air around us like water. A pilot a good pilot understands that the air is water. It's a fluid. It behaves much like a fluid does. The thing is, it's just a very light density. So the same way that you understand intuitively what I just shared with you about the lake, throwing boulders into the lake, you can also intuit that the same types of things happen in the atmosphere. So, like if you drop a boulder in the water, the wave is going to go across to the other shore. You might say, well, it doesn't make it that far. It's a mile away. Okay, but what if it was a meteor? Well, that would definitely affect the other shore. It would make a tsunami over there. So the amount of energy that's imputed into the water is going to translate to the other shore across the lake, right? So that's how you understand the fluid dynamics. But just take the intuitive leap and understand that the world around us, the air, is also a fluid. If I move my hand like this through the air, if you could see it, it would create these vortices.
Yes, you'd see it in steam, wouldn't you?
So I'm getting to the point about the HAARP. So during the late 50s, the fighter airplanes used to have these antennas. So they'd be flying and they'd have these antennas that would sweep. You've seen those antennas, the radars that sweep back and forth and back and forth. And what they would do is that there's a little dot in the middle of the cone of the antenna, and it sends a signal out, and then based on the reflection, it could tell what's out there.
Yeah.
Right? So it pings something and then gets the reflection. Well, if you're in a high-performance airplane and you're pulling G's, the gimbal of that radar, that gimbal, it's going to wear out. It's not going to function. Because if that radar mechanism that's moving, if that weighed like a pound, and you're pulling 9 Gs, all of a sudden that's 9 pounds pulling on that pivot point. So they developed what's called a phased array radar. A phased array radar is like the Tesla receiver downstairs. And what it does is it can fine-tune its signal without any moving parts. 0 moving parts. It can make a signal. It can receive a signal from anywhere and understand that signal.
So it's very convenient.
And it can also send a signal. It can send and receive signals without any moving parts. It's all magnetoelectric and electromagnetic.
Right.
All right?
So that sounds sensible.
Right. So this is a wonderful technology when it's used for good.
What's
when
the
it's
flip
used
side?
for good. What is HAARP? HAARP. There's numerous places in the world that are like up in Alaska. There's one in Alaska. There's one in Russia, like in Siberia. There's a couple others. I don't know exactly where they are. I could research it. But basically, if you can imagine a property that's, if you can imagine a field, instead of a Tesla antenna that's maybe a couple square feet, take that and put it so it's like many, many, many acres large. Like as big as Phillips Island here, 20 acres of antennas. And those antennas go up and they use natural gas from Alaska, natural gas to put voltage across this antenna. Well, think about that little Tesla platform. Instead of receiving power to tell me, to give me internet signal, what if I could use that same technology to send power, amplify it by billions of volts, and be able to direct that energy any place I want.
Yeah, it's deadly.
What would happen with that?
What happened if the James Bond bad guy gets hold of that? Yeah.
Right. Well,
but technology does that. There's flip sides to everything, isn't there?
So you have this beam of energy. You can bounce that beam. You can communicate over that beam.
Yeah.
You can use that beam, depending on the frequency, to heat what's called the ionosphere. The ionosphere, I disagree with the terminology, but they call it the ionosphere. It's a layer of the atmosphere that is ionically charged. Ions mean there's an electrical charge to it. Well, what if I could take this high intensity beam with billions of joules of energy, and point this beam at it and heat it up? That's what this HAARP does. It heats it up. So if I want there to be something, if you're in London and I'm in Alaska and I'm a dirtbag and I want to affect the weather over London, what if I pointed this beam and made it bounce so that I could heat the area right over London? I'm just making this up.
Sure, yeah.
I was able to heat and create a bubble, a high pressure, high temperature bubble over London. Do you think that would impact the weather patterns? Do you think I could steer hurricanes with that? Do you think I could influence weather? Could I make it rain or not rain?
I mean, it sounds you're going into science fiction realms, but to me it all sounds very plausible.
I mean, I'm asking people, I'm asking listeners.
Now go to the good of it.
To not listen.
So that is the horrific side of it. You can control the weather.
Right.
On the positive side, how does that affect the everyday, average working person?
Right. So this is what I'm saying is
to the benevolent use of this.
Well, first of all, we need to ask all of you listening to this saying, oh my God, Dr. Phillips is off her rocker. Okay, fine. Question it. Research it.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. Mm-hmm. Drop me a note and tell me how I'm wrong.
Yeah, steer me in the right direction for more information.
Correct me.
But you might be right. So,
I'm asking you to correct me. I'm begging
well, that's assuming if you're wrong, but you don't know whether you're wrong or right, but you're just working out as you're going like the rest of us.
Well, I always presume I'm wrong. I just...
Well, you're going to be...
I'm missing something.
You could be.
I'm missing something.
But
I don't know
you sound
what
like you're onto something. Yes, so if you're missing something, then that's great. Just ask.
So HAARP is a good thing. What if I were to pulse it? What if I can get the atmosphere to vibrate? Do you think I could cause earthquakes? Could I cause earthquakes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know the answer.
But you also know that you could cause rain over Phillips Island if it's hot in the summer, right? You could irrigate without using any electricity to run your irrigation. So you need to be able to have that power coming into the house so it fuels your range and your air conditioning. So this has to be harvested and then sent into dwellings. That would be the ultimate benevolent use of it.
I think you're onto something there because I've researched HAARP for 20 years now. I mean, when I first heard about it...
Say what it stands for again. Is it still on your phone?
It's...
Auroral something. Frequency. High frequency, auroral... It's
high frequency, active auroral research.
Right, yeah.
All right? Now, their stated purpose is research. But let me ask you, you opened up talking about global warming.
Can I just say this? If you took this to a beautiful benevolence, when you've got all these people dying because you've got children drinking horrible water and dying in Africa, you could just use that and then you could have it just rain down and then plant some seeds or you could just turn it into a beautiful climate, couldn't you?
You've listened to my lunch break. My lunch break, I showed you some things about the lost history and stuff.
Yes, I've listened to that.
There's a lot of evidence that suggests that the quote Sahara Desert used to be a verdant Arcadia, full of all sorts of life and vegetation.
So I wonder if back in the day we had this technology and we just fucked around with it, and this is what we ended up with, a bloody Sahara Desert.
I'm going to tell you that it would not surprise me.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm an inquisitive mind. The CIA will call me a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm asking intelligent questions. That's all I'm doing.
You've got to reframe that phrase. I'm going to really try not to use this again.
I mean, first of all, what is a conspiracy? It's when
you keeping something quiet.
Well, no. If you keep something quiet by yourself, it's not a conspiracy.
But if
two or more people get together to do something devious.
So the government's saying that there's just crackpot conspiracy theorists out there, but then that's what they could be. They're just projecting what they are because they keep stuff hidden. Now, I don't know what they're hiding, but I think it's quite likely that they hide a lot of shit from us.
Well, we know that one of Henry Ford, I'm from Detroit. I go to the Henry Ford Museum. We should go there. Let's do a field trip. It's so
darling,
fun.
I would lose the will to live. I'd be so bored. I'll go to a zoo with you.
No.
I cannot go around a car museum, darling. I would just die.
Well, they have Greenfield Village too. Whatever. So the point is...
I'll have a margarita outside and wait for you.
Oh, so I don't need to go again. I've been there 20 times. But I go through all these cars. They have all these cars and planes and locomotives and all this stuff, historical limousines, the whole thing. I don't remember seeing Henry Ford's 100% hemp car. The entire car was made from hemp and hemp byproducts. No metal, no rubber, no petroleum products, natural hemp.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
But the problem is, it's not in the museum.
Was it there?
No, I've never seen it before.
So how do we know it exists then?
Because you can see the news articles. Like you can look back in the newspapers. Like when you look at the archives,
And
you
are
can
there
see it.
are there real people with testimonies who have actually seen this?
Yeah, I'll
Right.
show you. It's
okay.
there used to be a magazine, and maybe it's still out there. It's called Popular Mechanics. You can see it back in the old Popular Mechanics.
Has anyone made one since then?
Look, the problem we're having is that every time somebody benevolent, some beautiful creator like you and me makes a great idea, comes up with a great idea,
The government goes, fuck that.
somebody with a lot of
There's
money
no
buys
in
it, buys and if you're not going to sell it, they'll off you. They'll take your idea
God,
and
that's
they'll
absolutely
shelf
terrible,
it.
isn't it?
They'll bury it like in the bottom.
And then they keep the idea to enslave us.
Well,
So
now
depressing.
I can't say what their motives are, but I'm saying, where do these good
Well, it
ideas
can't
go?
be good. There can't be good motives, can it? Why would they hoard a good idea?
You keep asking why somebody would do something.
Because it doesn't make any sense not
doesn't-
to ask that.
Right,
Why
but-
wouldn't you ask that? Why don't you need to know someone's motive? Because
No, I don't need to
I
know.
do.
Look-
Otherwise, it's just a load of ideas. Someone's got to have a motive, and the motive would be keeping the masses ignorant, so the people in the positions of power can profit. That's what it.
I mean,
looks
that's
like.
what a rational person would do. That a rational person would observe those things and come to that conclusion. So what you said is true, but I don't need the motive. If some dirtbag's doing a bad thing, if you come up with a good idea and somebody steals your idea, burns your laboratory, and then kills you and your family, I don't need to know what the motive is. I need to. I mean, obviously they had a motive, but
Well, if you don't know the motive, you can't combat it.
I don't need to combat it. If they did a dirtbag thing and we can prove that they did it, I don't even care. I don't care what the motive is. If they injured you, then there has to be a retribution.
But in what we're talking about, it's greed and power, and that's their motive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they want to, so I feel like that with religion, and that's kind of more my wheelhouse. But we don't understand the premise of our existence, and that's what I talk about in the stuff that I write. So we are kept from vital information, because the way that I perceive the world is a far superior way of perceiving the world with regards to human magnitude, how powerful human beings, compared to how powerful the lack of power we've been told we have. So I see that in religion.
I agree.
And I think it just goes across the board, that we're just kind of fed and kept. And there's much more out there, and then there could be. I think it'll change, but there could be this massive organisation that is just.
I agree
keeping
with
us
you. I
insane.
think that, I like to imagine that I'm not from here, because when Robin and I met, most people you meet, it's like, oh, where are you from, and stuff. I would literally tell Robin, I'm not from here.
Yeah.
That was like our first time dating.
It's kind
I'm
of
like,
it's such a mesmerising thing to say
I'm
on
not
your
from
first
here.
date.
And Robin's like, me neither. She said, well, no, like, where were you born? I said, I wasn't.
I don't know.
I wasn't born here.
Yeah.
I
came from the Pallades.
I was probably hatched. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm not from around.
I mean, we don't know our origins, so.
But it's okay, because
But what you were trying to convey to her was, I'm a stranger in a strange land, basically.
well, yeah, but I like this. I listened to something yesterday, and I think it was fascinating. I actually thought about you, and it was a girlfriend of mine from Indianapolis area, or north of there, sent me this video of this lady talking, and she sounded like my sister. Like, not my blood sister, but spiritual sister, because she was very positive, she was full of light, and she was basically saying to be excited that we're ushering forth a beautiful new earth. And she was saying that as you remember things about who you are and where you're from, you're going to realize how exciting this time is. Yeah. We've been waiting for this time for a very, very long time, millennia. And some of us, her claim was, some of us just volunteered to come here. Mm-hmm. And we volunteered to do this very difficult task
Important.
Of ushering in this new
Golden
earth,
age.
this
Yeah.
new earth.
Yeah. And we do that by raising our own vibration.
Yeah, and she basically said, which made me think of you, because I was like, wow, what she is saying is so, it resonated with me. it got me very emotional. It spoke to my soul. And whether it's true or not, I don't know.
We're still discovering.
But it really moved me. The message moved me.
Rupert Sheldrake, I think he's still alive.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Rupert. Yeah, I think it was Rupert Sheldrake. But he talked about morphic resonance. And what that means is if you up your frequency and you live in that and you sustain it and you're coherent in that, you're actually putting the ladder down for everyone else to be able to do the same, because this resonance penetrates other people. So we're each here to lift our own vibration, because there will be a resonance of that, making it easier for other people to do the same. And I thought that was a beautiful idea. And
it's been, admittedly, probably maybe 5 or 6 years since I've seen any of his stuff. So I don't know what I'm recalling that was actually his words and what of it I actually synthesized. But morphic resonance to me, when you ask the question, if I measured, I'm looking across the studio here at this beautiful form, this beautiful figure, right? This beautiful sentient being that's awake, aware, conscious. She calls herself Sarah. If I took all of the exact chemicals, the exact ratios of every mineral, every enzyme, every molecule,
you cloned me.
And I took all of that, poured it into a beaker, stirred it up, and waited. And waited and waited and waited. How long would I have to wait before that became Sarah?
Came back to me before it rearranged.
Before it rearranged, it randomly rearranged itself to become Sarah.
Yeah.
The answer is, it's not going to happen. Why would it not happen? Because Sarah is a divine sentient being. You came into being because there was a preeminence of Sarah. So there was this morphic resonance prior to your arrival, and those elements, the constituent parts. So the image of you was created before you populated it.
Yes.
So the idea of Sarah was here. You were basically the dream of all of your ancestors. Like, you're here. And when somebody's in a really dark spot, this is one of the things.
The dream of all my ancestors. Gosh, I have to give that some thought.
Yeah, because here's what happens.
I think I'm here because I wanted to be here, and it's my own dream.
Well, I agree. It's an agreement. It's an agreement.
Yeah.
But think of it this way. Your mom and dad came together in love. It might have been lust. It might have been pure sex. It might have been genuine spiritual love. But they came together in some sort of love. So did their parents and their parents and their parents, all the way through centuries and millennia, right? All of these parents came down, and their wish, their desire was that this world that we're living in now is better for their children and grandchildren than it was for them.
Yes.
That was their wish, and there was a desire. Very rarely does somebody give birth to a child and say, yeah, I hope your world sucks, worse than mine. I mean, that doesn't happen.
No.
All right?
No.
So we have to presuppose that all of these beautiful parents that you've had through millennia
something wonderful for them. Wanted.
And so now here comes baby Sarah, and she's born. And she is basically the morphic resonance. So
we're talking about the morphic resonance being the soul or the spirit.
Well, it's the container.
Yes.
So the morphic resonance is this energy field that says, okay, I'm here. I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to configure the life. Then Sarah's up here saying, okay.
This is my soul.
And you're having this agreement with the ascended masters, mistresses, gods, goddesses, whatever they are.
The higher order of intelligence.
The higher order of intellect. And they're saying, hey, Sarah, or whatever your name was before it was Sarah.
Mary.
Hey, Mary.
Eat, drink, and be Mary.
You know what? There's a spot coming open.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
we have a womb for
There's
you.
There's a womb coming available.
We have an incubator.
And you're going to be called Sarah.
Apparently there's quite a waiting list.
I know. But think about that. Yeah. So there's this resonance, this morphic field.
So you're dealing with the energy, and the soul comes with this energy.
And then the soul says, they knock on your door. It's like, Mary, there's a womb coming available.
Yeah, I know.
Is this your time? You ready to go? Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to send you now. Now you're in there, your soul populates, and everything coalesces into this beautiful, beautiful.
9 months later.
And 9 months later, you're like, my journey, chapter 2 begins. Your first chapter was in the womb.
Yeah.
Your second chapter is out of the womb, right?
So I was talking on my radio station on Sunday. We were doing a broadcast, and my birth into this world was the most unfucking glamorous thing I think I could. So I was born in a rented house, a terraced house, small rented, damp terrace house in Margate in England, which is down on the south coast. And my mum didn't want to go into hospital, so the midwife came to the house, and this was on the 27th of December. And so she was lying on the couch. She said that she had a cigarette because that was calming her nerves. The midwife wanted to go to Scotland for Hogmanay, so she made my mum drink a pint of castor oil in milk, and this was supposed to somehow induce contractions because she wanted to get out of there. I wasn't due till the 2nd of January, so I was early. And then there was a cat watching from the windowsill, and I just think it's not a very dignified birth. My dad was down the pub. He came back in time, and that was my birth. That's how Sarah came into this world. And I got Desmond, my AI assistant, to draw an image of this, which is my birth.
Well, maybe we should.
She's not exactly a princess.
Can we use that for the?
No, because it's going on the cover of a book.
Oh, darn it! Okay.
Yeah, but coming into this world, and how many? We've got 8 billion souls on this planet, and apparently this is.
Well, those that are incarnated.
Incarnated, yes, exactly.
But there might be more.
There could be loads more, but we could have other worlds that we incarnate on, and we don't know what else is out there. This happened to be one of them. But from everything that I've read over 25 years, this is a high prize coming here, because we've got the blend of our computer brain with organic matter, and we can reproduce. So this is what the indelible fascination is with other life forms looking at us and wanting to discover who we are. This is apparently a big deal, and we're very, very privileged to be here. And that's hard to swallow when your life sucks, isn't it? Well, but apparently your soul was absolutely in the lineup for this, and it was a massive privilege. It's like getting into Yale.
You and I are absolutely in agreement on this. I think that.
But a lot of people would be like, "Fuck that shit." The people
I don't have
in
a pot to
Gaza
pee in,
right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't have a pot to pee in.
Yeah, it's not very well for you and I up in this beautiful studio.
Right.
But for a lot of people, they're going to be like, "I chose this. I wanted this."
Yeah, and you and I totally agree with you. As soon as when you back away from the immediacy of your three-dimensional Earth experience, saying, "Oh, wait a minute, I didn't volunteer to have a wart on my face. I didn't volunteer for this." Stop. Please stop. When you back away and understand you are not your body, you are not that. Your body is nothing more. That's like you having your
meat suit
CT5V and somebody scratches it with a key. That's terrible. That's something.
It doesn't change a damn thing.
It doesn't change. Yeah. It doesn't change anything. Yeah. You just have a scratch, but you're still the driver. You're still in control. You still have this beautiful experience. You can still, and I personally believe, like when I was a cadet at the Air Force Academy, I thought how fortunate I am not only to be at the academy, because there's like one out of 20,000 applicants or something that's stupid. It's just some huge number. How fortunate I was to be selected. I felt like I owed it to all of the people who were not selected to just kick butt, just because I took that spot. I got to make the most of it, right? Well, that's how I feel about this. I took this spot, this spot in this human
valuable.
There might be millions of souls, and I took the spot. I need to make the most of it.
I love that.
I need to step up and kick butt and make sure that we're bringing in the most beautiful future Earth as possible.
Creating things of value.
So back to the
Heaven
weather,
on earth.
all of the weather stuff. Let's double back. Even if we could use HAARP, even if we could use other technologies to influence the weather, the moral question is, should we? Or should we
Well, what outcome are we looking to cause by influencing the weather?
Right.
If it's to give the people fresh water in Africa so they can actually drink something without dying in 6 weeks of,
Correct.
That would be benevolent.
So like
Then you've got some psychopath that could warm up London and then, kill all the Brits.
well, we have micro technology right now that can create a mesh. You can actually study this. There's the special operators, the Marines and the special operators in the military. We already have technologies where you can just scoop the nastiest, skankiest water
And purified.
and just go push a syringe basically and drink right out of it.
It makes me, because so I was watching, it was one of the Christian TV stations, I think it was TBN, and they're building wells in villages in some godforsaken part of Africa. I can't remember where it was, and this was recently, this week. And then you send in a certain amount of money, and that goes towards. And so I did that, and it was a small amount. And I thought, well, hopefully I've contributed. And they just show you these children and they're just drinking because they have to drink, and it's just muddy fucking water. And if what you're saying is true and it's that easy, it's like, why can't we just get that on a plane and get that out there and give them drinking water? And these are children just dying monstrous deaths.
And we do have, once again, this is a plan. This entire Earth space is abundance.
Could you put up a shield over a part of Africa to stop the sun just maybe for 6 weeks so it cools it down? I mean, is there technology? Because I'm going into Star Trek realms here, but I've seen it on Star Trek, and you have cloaking devices and all sorts of things.
The shield is called a canopy. It's a forest canopy. And you can grow right out in front of the house.
How would you grow trees, though, in a really hot part of Ethiopia?
Right out in front of my house, the big tree in the front of my house, that thing's probably 20 feet tall right now.
Yeah, but you live in Florida. It's got all the water to drink.
It doesn't require water. That tree is called an enterolobium.
Oh.
And if you look at the African tundra, where there's these huge trees that go flat.
Yes.
That's what that tree is. Oh. And the canopy gets 100 feet in diameter. So that's going to fill up half of my front yard.
And it doesn't need to drink?
Almost nothing.
Right.
It's like virtually nothing. Because...
So where did you get that? That wasn't indigenous.
I'll give you one. No,
I'd love one.
2 of them volunteered in my backyard.
Oh, did they?
You can probably see one from here.
Oh, I'd love one of those.
The one of them I got to replace. It's not doing well, but
okay. So the canopy that prevents the heat coming is a tree.
When you look at the ecosystem of a permaculture system, that canopy is going to make 100 degrees 75 degrees.
Yes, exactly.
It'll make
it's a very simple solution. It's a very primitive solution, isn't it?
There's a beautiful. I got to get my son's in Austin, Texas, and there's this guy that bought for pennies on the dollar this hideous Central Texas acreage, and what he did was he started to reestablish. He started off with just grasses. He grew the native grasses in Central Florida.
Was he irrigating it?
And no, what happens is it's the whole ecosystem. I'll try to find the link and put it in there. But basically, he started off with the grasses. The reason there was no water was because the aquifers were empty. So he started off with the native grasses. And then what happens was, because there was native grasses, the small birds and different rodents started living there. And they would eat and poop, and they would send seeds and stuff. And pretty soon you had the medium and then pretty soon you had these all of the foliage. And then in came the deer, and all of the entire ecosystem became normalized, even flowing surface water, just because he started off growing native grasses.
That's how it all began.
And I'll show you the video.
How long did that take?
Oh, it was fast. It was a matter of a few years.
Oh, my God.
But they actually showed the aquifers filling up. They showed these dried out, these beds, these stream beds, these river beds. They were completely dried out. They were actually flowing with water just by normalizing, just by bringing balance to the nature. By permitting nature to balance itself, it created its own beautiful...
So if this is so easy and it's been done, and you've got these starving Ethiopian children, what you're saying is the solution to that is just start growing stuff and the problem will take care of itself.
Well, I think that the answer is yes. I think
and then you could put these trees up that you have here to give them some shade, so their cattle can be under some shade, not in the searing heat. But they've got to grow whatever they need to grow that's indigenous to their in Ethiopia. That's what they have to do.
Well, I mean, growing food is easy. Growing cattle.
Not if you don't have any water.
No. Well, if you don't have water, you shouldn't be growing cattle. You should be growing watermelons. The whole idea of cattle as food is a really bad idea.
And they're so skinny anyway. I think they probably use them to pull ploughs, though, and not to eat them. I wouldn't say you'd be getting much meat off their cows. They look emaciated. Right,
but again, the whole idea of having an ox the whole idea of ripping up the surface of the earth is a bad idea. You're disrupting the ecosystem.
So what about to plant crops, though?
The whole idea of crops is a bad idea. You don't do crops. Look, there's a friend of mine.
Really? I mean, you don't do crops.
No, you don't do crops.
Why? To put that in a nutshell.
Look.
Why? Because it's fucking with the planet?
Okay, first of all, the first thing you have to do to do a so-called crop is you have to go and tear out whatever's there, you have to tear it out. So whatever the earth put there, you're going to do better than the earth did, and you're going to tear it out. Step one. You're going to tear it out. So you're going to get the oxen or the
plow.
You're the plow, and you're going to tear it up, and immediately that earth becomes dehydrated. The moment you break the earth's surface, it dehydrates.
But you're going to sound, when people listen to this and say no crops, because we've grown up with crops everywhere, but you're saying this is a bad idea. How would we have got our food if someone had also thought this is a bad idea?
The idea of crops is a very industrialized version of food production. Food was produced way before we industrialized the production of food.
Yeah.
So I would encourage, there's a friend of mine, he and I are like, we're so like-minded, it's crazy. He's right there in St. Cloud, south of Orlando. His name's Jim Gale. Y'all need to just go visit his website. It's called Food Forest Abundance. Food Forest Abundance. And tell Jim that Tia Jolie sent you. But basically what he does is he teaches, just like I do, stop disrupting the earth, work with the earth, build the soil, don't tear it up, build it. Build depth so the roots can go in, so you can have an ecosystem. Because underneath the surface of the very top surface of the soil, there's a big ecosystem. There's mycelium under there. Mycelium help plants cooperate with each other. They distribute nutrition. They distribute hydration. As soon as you start ripping up that mycelium underneath the soil,
you've rendered it useless.
Because you want to put in a pretty lawn with a sprinkler system. Yeah. That's just so ridiculous. So I think that the idea...
I mean, you could have a pretty lawn with a sprinkler system, but we're talking about growing food. And what you're saying is that this mass industrialization of growing crops is... I mean, I used to drive down through Spain as a kid, and they would burn all the fields. It was like this hellish... And you had this road, and it wasn't hell, but it's fires, these low-grade fires burning. But what you're saying is, and that was to... I guess what's the fire going to leave? Carbon, and then that's going to be used.
It doesn't leave carbon.
It's going to be used as fertilizer.
No,
and
it
they were
doesn't.
looking to regrow these massive crops, and I don't know what they were. But anyway, so the non-industrialization of crops, how is the average person going to eat? Because you could live on Phillips Island and you could grow your own watermelons and your own food, and you know what to do. But how does the average person get their food if they live in an apartment in New York?
Well, first of all, what great idea was it to live in an apartment in New York?
Yeah, quite.
What rocket scientist figured out that's not? No, it probably was a rocket scientist, because they're a bunch of criminals and they're a bunch of idiots anyway. So the idea that you're going to live.
But what my question is, though, how does the average man, woman eat? I mean, you can grow your own food, and you do that. But what does the average person do?
So, Sarah,
how do we feed them? How do we feed 8 billion people?
Abundantly. You do it by number one, not wasting. In America, we waste 2/3 of our food is wasted. Yes, 2/3 of it. Crazy. We would not be hungry at all if we made smart use of the food that we produce. Now, if I'm going to eat 1 pound of beef, How much corn do you think goes into that production of 1 pound of beef? Do the research. So you take these beautiful crops, these crops that you've produced commercially, soy and wheat and all this stuff, and now you're going to feed animals and then eat the animals.
Yeah.
Those are that's like having a middleman.
So basically, be vegetarian and you've solved a lot of this freaking problem.
Well, I mean, just
Plant-based diet, stop eating animals really solves a lot because you're not going to have to grow that amount of corn to feed this beast, are you?
a few years ago, we had so many sweet potatoes, I was giving them away. They were the beautiful purple on purple ones, the Okinawan ones, I think they're called. We had so many sweet potatoes, there's no way we could possibly eat them all in a year. So we gave them away for free. What if everybody did that?
Yeah.
Maybe I have too many sweet potatoes.
You rely on the goodness of human nature to solve all these problems. And you're right, if we all were, these problems would be solvable.
I'll just tell you, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this year, I'm going to do sweet potatoes, I'm going to do bananas, and I'm going to do okra or whatever. And then you do tomatoes and
fruit,
green beans and whatever. We just, you know, everybody can do something.
Yes, it's I mean, I like the ideology of that, and I think it's worth working towards that. It's a lot of people are going to say, well, I can't grow my own food, and they're going to go to Publix and they're going to buy it out of boxes and cans.
Right, and if they're going to do that, at least be smart with what you're doing, because
don't waste it.
Well, I ask people, it's like, you know, they go to the meat counter. It's like, where did the meat come from?
Yeah,
they have no idea that that beef is a dead cow.
Yeah.
They don't know that a hot dog.
They don't want to know.
A hot dog is all of the scraps from all of the dead animals, and you're just gonna. Yeah. You're going to put them in a blender and put them in an intestine tube.
So I write short stories for children, and I was on this cruise ship, and I was really interested. I wanted to see the kitchens. I didn't get a tour, but I will one day. And I really wanted to see what was going on in the hub of this ship. And I was talking to one of the waiters, and he was talking about these. So this is like you've been on a cruise. It's just buffets of food, and everyone's eating.
Every direction you turn.
And I said, where does all this food go? And he said, it just gets put back into the ocean. So I wrote this story about this fish that started following the cruise ship around so it could eat this food, and then all these. This is this big thing. It's a really cool. I'll let you see that. But he was talking about the waste, and it was more, the numbers were higher. It was like something like 70%. People would just devour this food, and then it just gets flushed out into the ocean. I guess that's good for the ocean. Is that good for the fishes? They're going to love it, right? They get all this food. Maybe it's doing something to sustain that, and that's good. But it was a staggering amount of waste. It's waste.
I would say it's waste, but it's not food, because fish don't eat
mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes are dead animal carcasses. They don't eat those things.
So it's poisoning the ocean. Then where's it going?
Well, I mean, the ocean's so big.
But anyway, it's not even about what it does to the ocean. It's just the massive wastage of food.
To me, it's a wastage of food.
Yeah.
When you think of all of the energy that goes into producing that sweet potato or that. That, you know, whatever you're eating.
I have a friend.
It's really pitiful to waste that.
She's really good. It's Charlene. She doesn't waste anything. And she freezes stuff, she cans stuff. Even if it's half a tomato, she'll chop it up and then she'll just put it in a little bag in the freezer. And then when she's making a shepherd's pie, she'll use that. She doesn't waste anything.
I love
and then
her.
She
She's
shops,
so cool. Yeah.
She shops where there's good deals, and she's very cognizant of this. And it's very satisfying to listen to her, how she doesn't waste anything. So I've really learned from that.
I know several people that eat off their land.
That would be very sad.
There was a girlfriend, her family used to do the citrus orchards here. The last name was Anderson, right here. And you've seen Anderson Road. Mm-hmm. That her family was the Andersons.
Anderson Hill.
Yeah, she's the.
Oh, wow.
That Anderson Hill.
That's our highest
That
hill
was her
here.
family, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So she moved away, I guess, to Tennessee or something. But anyway, she used to eat off her land almost exclusively.
And was she plant-based?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. She
would
would
have a chicken running around for eggs, maybe. Maybe she had a few.
She didn't have chicken. She actually, that's the reason she got a hold of me, because she asked me, she says, "Are you plant based?" And I said yes. And she was with a girlfriend of hers, and they were both asking me about plant based eating. So, but there's several people here that actually eat off their property.
Yeah, it must be very, very satisfying.
I was actually talking to Robin this morning about
cost effective.
We like to travel, but you don't need to eat as much. Most people think they need to eat. But if you just have a family of 2 and you have a couple chickens, if you want to eat something plant-based, eat it. If you want to have an egg,
An omelette.
some of these chickens will throw out a lot of eggs.
You could do 4 or 5 a day.
And the amount of plant debris, like when you grow a plant, you eat the fruit, but then there's the greens, right? You can take those greens and throw them in a chicken coop. Those chickens will be happy as the happiest
And
chickens
let
in the
them
world.
run around and eat
They're
whatever.
running and they're eating and
Yeah.
they're just happy and they're dropping these eggs. It's a beautiful cycle. But we just have to get back to that. Just get people to learn. So this doubles back to how we opened. What about all this? I would say the number one thing we can do with the world around us is also the number one thing we can do for ourselves, which is bring balance, to bring joy, bring peace.
Yeah.
Don't waste things.
Be sensible.
Be sensible. Be resourceful. If you have abundance, share it. If you can create abundance, share
So
it.
help take care of this problem by starting at the grassroots level and just embody it in your own life.
When people, when their lives, when they function in a position of scarcity, then their worldview, everything in the world around them
wanna hoard it.
reflects scarcity. But when you adopt the idea of abundance, the whole world changes.
Yeah. So it's a change in attitude. That's it, isn't it? That's
It's-
where it
it's a
has
big
to
part
begin
of it.
there. Well, that's the precursor to any change outwardly. It would be change your ideas of what life is and how you process.
Well, you could have two people look at the same situation, completely different perspectives
I
on
have a
that.
funny story about that, actually.
Right.
Not for this episode.
Let's talk about next episode. So next episode's going to be number 60.
I know, that's good,
So,
isn't it?
yeah, let's make it a
This
good
is
one.
episode 59. Which
59,
is,
yeah.
So 60. So what do you want to talk about?
Whatever brings you joy.
All right. Well, I'm going to pray on it, and I'll get some inspiration, and then I'll write it down, and I'll let you know.
Yeah,
You do the same.
You know
if
what?
there's
I'll
something.
have my people contact your people and know.
Have Desmond contact Rosie.
Yeah, have Rosie give actually our ascended masters and mistresses.
I'm going to ask Desmond.
if he knows Rosie.
No, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him if he knows your ascended masters.
Well, we have to get them to meet each other sometime in the future because you wanted to set them up.
So what you do, you ask Rosie, what would be a good episode for episode number 60? I'll ask Desmond, and we'll see whether they come up with the same thing.
Oh wow, wouldn't that freak you out if they came up with the same?
God, well then we'll do the episode about that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming out. I don't think we're going to get much more rain today.
No,
I
it
hope we
stopped.
do.
I'm looking out at your beautiful island here, and it's stopped. But we got some this morning. You've got a nice load of rain.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I want more. I need to get some deep watering because my bananas. I have so many bananas that are established because we got wiped out by that hurricane.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I really need the culms to really get established.
Can you get a hose on them?
Well, I do the ones up here, but the ones in the back,
Right.
like by, I call it Rainbow Row, that goes to the back 9. I've got bananas all up and down there I've got lemongrass, I've got sugar cane, all the way along that back road. And
Well, let's
but
pray to
I
the
need
rain
those to
gods
get. I
then.
need those to get some water.
Yeah, we need that HAARP thing. We need to get you a little row of water.
Yeah.
coming over.
Well, I just want people to know about these technologies. That those technologies, they're heating the atmosphere. So they can have you saying, "Oh no, don't eat that," or "Don't have a barbecue on the 4th of July because you're producing carbon, right? Your carbon footprint's going up. In the meantime, they're putting billions of joules of energy into the atmosphere. That was my point. If we're going to have this conversation, let's put all the pieces on
Yeah,
the
don't be hypocritical.
let's put all the pieces on the table. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, it was a good one. I thought it was going to be a 5-minute conversation, but it got to an hour and 5 minutes. And it was very interesting.
Well,
you
whatever.
are fascinating.
You're so funny. Well, I love you dearly. And
All
thank
right,
you for
see
coming
you next
out.
week for our 60th.
Have a great week. I'm
yeah,
excited.
I'll bring a cake with 60 candles.
Make it a carrot cake.
What? I'll
Do you
bake one.
What?
I will.
It's my favorite cake.
Do you? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
You know, it's funny.
I like baking.
All of my children, it was so cute because they were talking about their favorite cakes, and they're all in different states now. They're all over the place, and they're like, that they each told me this. I don't know why, but I love carrot cake, and then they discovered that all the others like carrot cake too. My whole family likes carrot cakes, and they don't know
Wow.
why. And I'm like, I don't know why either. Probably because my whole life, my birthday was always carrot cake. So they probably enjoyed my birthday cake.
I've had good and bad carrot cakes. I like it when it's very heavy and very moist. But I'm going to make a carrot cake and I'm going to bring it next week for our 60th.
I'll eat that.
Oh, yeah. So are you okay?
You'll
so,
do
but
that?
the ingredient, yeah, I could do that. So I'll do
You're
that.
so sweet.
Yeah, I've got a new kitchen now, so I'm into cooking.
I haven't even seen your kitchen.
Well, I'm going to invite you and Robin down. Tony's he's away on Saturday. Let's do it the following weekend. So come down and have a look because I'm back to normal now after this 6 months of renovation. It's beautiful. But I'm going to bring a carrot cake next week.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And I'll do a plant-based.
I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I'll eat it.
Okay.
Okay. Love you. Be well. Take care. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Soul Decodes, a feature presentation, airs every Friday on the Earth Angel Media Network. This episode of Soul Decodes is sponsored and produced by Live Pure. Optimize your life by taking your health to the next level. Listen now to learn how Live Pure will make your world better.
Live Pure is an American-based distribution system of online portals that give discounted access to clean, potent, natural, and ethically sourced healthy solutions for fat loss, muscle gain, immaculate skin care, immune system support, whole body cleanse, physiological balance, and performance support for athletes of all ages. Live Pure handpicks the best products and nutrients from world-class companies, always adding to their quickly growing wellness lineup that now includes Korean skincare, medical-grade nutraceuticals listed as pharmaceutical alternatives in the physician's desk reference, and healthy coffee that rivals the world's best, but for only about $1 per cup. Soul Decodes listeners looking for vitality, youth, beauty, and better health can get 25% off retail by visiting livepure.com/Sarah Tirri and signing up for free as a preferred customer. If you are a content creator, influencer, or home-based entrepreneur looking for worldwide cash flows from the emerging gig economy, Live Pure's state-of-the-industry brand partner affiliate program can bring you up to 7 different payment vectors as bonuses. As a content creator aligned with Live Pure and Earth Angel Media, you will enjoy massive co-marketing benefits, including a cutting-edge website that is personally branded to you or to your business. Sign up as a brand partner at livepure.com/Sarah Tirri, or drop us a note at connect@earthangelproject.com to get more information.